This is Mrs. Nasland, and today we will be looking at Unit 4, Lesson 1, Naming and Measuring Angles. Our learning targets for today are, I can make and describe right, acute, and obtuse angles. I can measure angles using a protractor, and I can apply knowledge of angles to real-world situations. Our vocab is a right angle, acute angle, obtuse angle, and a protractor. We'll be talking about all of these vocab words as we go through the lesson today. First one we'll look at is what a right angle is. This little animation will help show you what a right angle looks like. A right angle, as you see, it's going all the way around, is a 90-degree angle. We show right angles by drawing a square in the corner of the two rays that are connected at a vertex, and we label it as 90-degree angle. Again, I always think of it as like the corner of a piece of paper, exactly 90 degrees. We can also label angles as acute, obtuse, or straight. An acute angle is an angle with a measure less than 90 degrees. If you think back to that previous animation, a 90-degree angle is less than that amount. If I draw a 90-degree angle here, this would be the 90-degree angle. Anything less than that is considered an acute angle. An obtuse angle is just the opposite. An obtuse angle is an angle with a measure of greater than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees. So again, if I was going to draw that 90-degree angle in here, you would see that an obtuse angle is greater than that 90-degree angle, but it's less than 180 degrees. And you'll see below, this is considered a straight angle because it's 180 degrees. Straight angles are always 180 degrees. Nothing greater, nothing less than 180. Next, I'll be teaching you how to use a protractor to measure angles. If you look at these two figures, the first thing that you do is you align your protractor so that it's exactly on the line. The bottom part here, there's a little line on your protractor, fits exactly on this figure. So if you look at this blue line, it aligns right there, and that the center vertex hits right on that center point of the protractor. So the first thing I do is align my protractor nice and carefully, and I'll give you another demonstration in a second. And then I look at the angle, and if it's less than 90 degrees or an acute angle, I'm going to be looking at the smaller numbers here. So I'm not looking at these bigger numbers because it's an acute angle, not an obtuse angle. So I look at it real closely. I look that it's going up 30, 40, 50, and I look right in between. They mark the 5s. So this is a bigger picture here. So it's a little bit bigger than 45. I'm going to say it's right about a 47-degree angle here in figure 2. Now I look at figure 3. Again, I look at this angle, and I can tell that it's still an acute angle. So even though I've switched sides of the protractor, I still am looking at this smaller numbers. If it was an obtuse angle, then I would look at the larger numbers. But again, it is an acute angle. So I'm going to look at the smaller numbers. I'm going to make sure my protractor is lined up right on this line, that the vertex is right at the center point of the protractor, and then I'm going to go ahead and follow it all the way up. It's going 40, 50. I can see that the 45 is about halfway there. So I'm going to say it's about a 46-degree angle. And that's how you read a protractor. Let's practice on a real figure. On this one, I'm going to take my protractor and I'm going to actually try to measure this green angle first. Looking at it, I'm going to say right away off the bat, I can tell that it's an obtuse angle because again, if I was going to draw my right angle would be straight down from here with a straight line. This would be my right angle. It's bigger than that, so I know that it's an obtuse angle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my protractor up here. Again, the trick to using the protractor is that I have to align the line, so I'm going to actually rotate my whole protractor here. I have to get it nice and flat, a little harder on the computer. There we go. I'm going to line the line right with the line there, and I'm going to put my vertex of the line right on the point. And then I start over here, and I remember I said this one is an obtuse angle because it's a larger than 90 degrees, so I get to look at the bigger numbers this time. So I go ahead and I look at the bigger numbers, go all the way around here, and I look at it. It's not going to be the smaller ones, again, because it's obtuse. I look at it, and it's going 120, 130, 140. It's about 135, maybe 134. Let's check and see what it was. 135, I was pretty close. Now I'm going to measure this little blue angle. So again, I take my protractor. I have to rotate it so that I have a nice flat line. Here we go. I'm going to bring it right up here, and remember my vertex is the point where the two lines meet. I'm going to line it right in the center point there. And again, aligning it perfectly is the key. All right, I think that's pretty good. Line it right there. And then, again, this is an acute angle. This one's less than 90. If I was going to draw my 90-degree angle, it would go here. So I get to look at the smaller numbers. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. It's right in between, so I'm going to say it's a 45-degree angle. And I'm correct. All right. A couple other things we should know about acute, right, and obtuse angles. If I look at all these examples up here, these are all acute angles, again, because they're less than 90 degrees. And I think to myself, how are all of these alike? Well, they're all rays. They're all rays connected by a vertex. And let's see if I'm right. Yep, each angle is made by two rays. They have a common endpoint. Okay, there's the endpoint. And how are they different from a right angle? Well, if I remember back to my right angle had a 90-degree angle, and all of these are less than 90 degrees. So that's how they're different from a right angle. They are less than 90-degree angle, okay, or smaller than, as they put it, smaller or less than. All right, if I scroll down and I look at these angles, these are all obtuse angles. Again, how are they all alike? Well, they're all created by rays, okay? These are lines that continue to go on, and they all have a common endpoint or vertice right in the middle. That's how they're alike. How are they different from a right angle? Okay. Again, I think of my right angle as that 90-degree angle, and I think they're different because they're all greater than or larger than that 90 degrees. That's how they're different from a right angle. How about acute angles? How are they different from acute angles? Well, just like right angles, they are all larger than any acute angle, because remember, an acute angle is less than 90 degrees, and these obtuse angles are greater than 90. So each angle is larger than an acute angle. Okay. All right, a couple more things here. This next one, how do we label angles? Okay, there's a couple ways that we're going to label them. And I'm going to use my writing feature here on the computer, so it's a little sloppy, but you'll get the idea. When I look at this angle, I'm going to look at it and I'm going to say, okay, first off, I can tell it is greater than that 90 degrees. So it's an obtuse angle. I know that. But they want me to actually label the angle using the letters. How do I do that? Well, what I do is I draw a little symbol with my, my computer here. And I draw an angle symbol, something like that, and then I label it F, G, H. I put the middle vertex in the middle, so I'm going to actually label it F, G, H. So I'm going to say that my angle FGH is an obtuse angle, and it would look like this. Now in this case, I'm going to write my angle symbol again, and I'm going to label it X, Y, Z, and I'm going to say that it is an acute angle because it is less than that 90 degrees. And how about this one right here? We see that little mark there in the middle, so I know it's a right angle. That little square tells me it's a right angle, and I'm going to label it as angle L, M, N. And there we go. So that's how we label angles if we're asked to actually label them. All right, let's do one more practice here with that protractor because again, knowing how to use that protractor is really important. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to drag my protractor to this number 11. Again, I'm going to put the line on the bottom one, make sure that my end point here is right on the center of my protractor. And then I'm going to look, okay, it's a smaller angle, it's not obtuse, it's an acute angle, so I'm going to use these smaller numbers, and I'm going to go up, and it looks like, if I look at it, it's about a 70-degree angle, maybe a 71-degree angle. Let's see what it is. It's a 70-degree angle. All right, let's try this one. Now I'm looking at this angle right away, and I can tell that it's an obtuse angle. It is more than 90 degrees. So I get to use the larger numbers. So I'm going up. It's opening this way. Another way to look at it is how the angle opens. It's opening this way, so I'm going to use this side here. And I'm going to look at it, and it's about at that 110. I bet if I get this aligned just perfect, there we go. I'll get it at that 110-degree angle. So I would say angle STR is 110 degrees. Let's see if I'm right. Yep, I'm correct. All right, one last thing. What if I'm asked to actually draw an angle? All right, that's tricky. In this case, they want me to draw that 90-degree angle. Well, again, I take my protractor. I'm going to line it up right on a line here. Make sure that my bottom is lined up with the line and that my 90 is lined up with the line. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a line here. I'm going to start right at that 90 degrees. I'm going to draw my line straight down. I'm going to end right at that center point. And then I'm going to draw my other line again right at the bottom part here. And I can say that this is a 90-degree angle. All right, let's try it over here. This time they want a 45-degree angle. Again, I'm going to take my center point. I'm just going to find a good spot to draw. Make sure I can actually see my 45 degrees here. All right. And I'm going to take my line here. First, I'm going to go right from that center point, and I'm going to draw it this direction. Get my flat line. And then I'm going to find 45 degrees. So I look right here. I'm going up 30, 40, 50. You see that one's a little longer, so that's my 45 degrees. And I'm going to go ahead and click right there. I can get that right. Here we go. And I'm going to make sure I connect it right to that center point. And there you go. Now I've shown a 45-degree angle. If I pull that protractor away, I've got a 90-degree angle and a 45-degree angle. So today we learned the difference between an acute, obtuse, and right angle. We learned how to use the protractor to actually draw angles and measure angles. So in real life, if you need to know the angle of something, you can use a protractor to help you figure out the exact angle of a figure. That concludes lesson 4.1.